So making homemade cranberry sauce and applesauce is actually very easy. All I've done is taken some fresh cranberries that I had and some frozen that I had been stocking up on. Once they come out, they're only out for a short period, I would say near the end of August until after Thanksgiving, Christmas. And basically I've put maybe 2 or a little bit more packages of cranberries into the pot, and there's enough water in the pot so that it just comes up, I would say, about 3/4 of the way. At the moment I have it on high as I'm just getting the water boiling. And then over here, applesauce, same thing, very easy to do. I've skinned and cut the apples into chunks. Water about 3/4 of the way. These are very old-fashioned, simple recipes. And now I'm just going to begin adding sugar. In regards to how much sugar you should add, it's really about taste. I tend to want to have, and I would say this was about a dozen apples, and they were yellow apples, not overly sweet. With applesauce, and this is a 1/2 cup of sugar right there, and all of the jams and old-fashioned recipes are loaded with sugars and salts and things like that to help preserve them, etc. So I'm putting in, for a dozen or so apples, about 1 cup of sugar, and that may be it, because I'll also be adding some cinnamon. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit now. With my applesauce, I don't like it to be overly sweet. Cranberry sauce, on the other hand, I do have, it seems, less cranberries. But I'm going to make sure I add at least a full cup, because cranberries are very sour. And without the sugar, they stay sour. So the kind of cranberry sauce that everybody likes coming out of the can, which has been much more processed. And I do have a good amount of organic cranberries in here. I have no idea how they can pull that off, but I bought them at an organic store, and then Ocean Spray had some organic ones. Those were the ones I had frozen. So a little more than 1 cup, and then I'll see how it looks in a little while. So I'm going to just stir in these sugars a bit, get them coated. As you can see, the cranberries are really still quite hard, and it's just starting to get hot in there. So now that I've got that mixed, I'll turn down the heat and let them go for quite a while. We'll see how long it actually takes. So I'm going to turn it down to about halfway for right now, and I'll see. I don't want things to be at a full boil. Over here, the applesauce definitely getting heated. I'm just going to mix that sugar in and turn that down about halfway. You want it to be on a decent simmer, and stay near your pots. Fruits are very, especially the apples, very sugar oriented. There's tons of sugar in it. It gets really sticky, and if your fluids evaporate, you're going to have quite a mess. Okay, so we'll be back in a little while to see how this turns out. Alright, it's been about, I would say, 7 minutes, and these are starting to get soft already. I'm giving them a little spin, and just checking that they are on a gentle simmer. And so far, looking pretty good. I might turn it up just a snippet and come back and check it. The apples are definitely getting soft and mushy, which is what you want. Excuse the fog. And I think on these I will turn them down, because it's already getting thick and the water is mixing in, and I don't want them to be simmering on too high of an amount. So I'll turn those down and be back in a while. So I've turned the applesauce down to very low. It's just about there, but I'm going to give it a few more minutes And then I'm going to add some cinnamon in. But I do want to make sure that there are less chunks. So a little bit more breaking down to do. And then I'll give it a taste to make sure it's sweet enough. And add the cinnamon. And the cranberry sauce is getting turned down low now as well. It is definitely almost cranberry sauce at this point. And I will taste that by putting it in a separate bowl. These are very hot items. And we'll come back in a few minutes. Well, the applesauce is just about done. And it tastes good. So I'm going to start sprinkling in some cinnamon. Now, how much cinnamon? That is to taste. So you could definitely start with about a teaspoon. And if you want to, add more from there. For myself, I just sprinkle some across the top and spin it in. Cranberry sauce is looking good. Depends on how mushed up you want it. Personally, I don't like it to come out like it is in the cans. I like it to have some whole cranberries left in it. So I would say that this is just about done. Alright, that's it. Cranberry sauce and applesauce, homemade. The cranberries were organic, and the apples, well, I like to skin mine before I make applesauce, so any pesticides, for the most part, would be in the skin. So, some good, fresh, homemade, harvest, Thanksgiving and holiday food, right here from New England. Very simple old recipes. Just some cranberries, a little water, and some sugar. Just some apples, a little water, and some sugar. If you want, you add the cinnamon. I'll put these in these Glad containers, and I will place the containers on a cookie sheet in the freezer until they get hard, and then I'll run them through my vacuum seal and put them in the freezer. Last up to about a year, still taste good. I'll use the applesauce in recipes making breads, and the cranberry sauce, I filled one big one so that it would be just right for Thanksgiving. And if it isn't, and I need a little more, I can just run to the freezer and defrost one quickly. Hope you liked the recipe. Enjoy, everybody. It's really easy to do some of these old-fashioned simple recipes.